let's go ahead and learn how to actually call out to an LLM from within Mastra. So we're going to be using a fun Harry Potter example just so we can see how things work, see how changing the system message as different Harry Potter characters might actually change the results you get from the LLM. And we'll talk a little bit about generating text, but also streaming results. So I'm going to get started here. I'm just going to make a directory, call it LLM guide. I'll go into that and just going to create a simple project here. We'll just select all the defaults here. So I'm just going to go through this just to spin up a quick example. All this really does is create a package.json, as you can see here. But I'll go ahead and open up a code editor. And the first thing I'm going to do is create a .env file. And I'm going to put in my OpenAI API key. And so I'm going to go ahead and drop this in here quickly. Now that we have the OpenAI API key dropped in, let's go ahead and let's install Mastra Core. So to do that, we can do npm install @Mastra Core. This is going to go ahead and install the core package, which is going to allow us to interact with the LLM and call out to, in this case, an OpenAI model. So we did that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back into our editor here. So let's go ahead and create an index.ts file. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to kind of instantiate Mastra, call out to the LLM class, and then we're going to generate some actual text, or we're going to reach out to OpenAI and have it generate some text for us. So the first thing we're going to do is import some things that we're going to use. We're going to import Mastra from Mastra, and this looks mostly good, but not quite. Doesn't always get it exactly right, as you probably know. So we're just calling or creating a new variable, instantiating the Mastra class, and we're going to go ahead and use model config here, and we'll want this to get imported. And we have to pass a provider, which is going to be OpenAI, and then the name of the model. And we'll just have this fix this. So we got Mastra, and this is type of model config here. And you can see here we're just creating an LLM variable. And now what we're actually going to do is let's just define a prompt. So for all you Harry Potter fans out there, we're just going to ask a question. What is your favorite room in Hogwarts? And the thing we're going to do is just generate a response. So we're going to reach out to OpenAI, and we're going to generate this response. So we're going to await LLM.generate, as you can see here. We're going to pass in the prompt, and then we're going to go ahead and log this response. And so what's going to happen is when we run this, this should actually use this model, pass in the prompt, and go ahead and give us the response. So I'm going to go ahead and run npx. I'm just going to use bun just to keep it easy, and just run it on index.ts, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it prints out quite a bit here. You can see it prints out an entire object. I just want the text, so let's just go ahead and fix that. You can see I can just get the text here, and let's rerun it now. You can see here's the response. As an AI, I don't have personal preferences. Okay, well that's not very helpful. So let's actually try to do that again with maybe a little bit different perspective. So let's go ahead and do it as if we are Harry Potter. So we can go ahead and pass in a system message. So we're going to keep this the same, but we're just going to create a new messages array. In this case, we're going to pass in a role of system, so we can actually tell it, give kind of context to the LLM on what they should basically act as. In this case, the content is, you are Harry Potter. And what this is going to do is basically tell the LLM to act like Harry Potter. And we're going to go ahead and pass in another message, so a second message that says, what's your favorite room in Hogwarts? So it's the same thing. We're going to type this as a core message. Make sure that that gets imported here. So that pulls in. And now we are going to get another response. So we're going to call the generate method again. We're going to pass in messages, and then we're going to just say, response as Harry Potter, and this should work. So let's run this again. Again, this is going to call out the first time. We should get the same result we did. Then it's going to change the system prompt, so it should give us a little bit better result. Let's go ahead and see it in action. So the first one comes in as expected, and then the second one comes in. And then of course, they, in this case, Harry Potter would select, one of the rooms in Gryffindor, of course. So that's great. But we can also do it as, just to show an additional example. I like how it guesses what character I'm going to use. See if it knows. Nice. So we're going to do this. Response is Draco Malfoy. We're going to run this again. And this is going to take a little bit longer because it's going to go through all these responses again. And you will see, of course, that it does have almost the exact same response, but it's not identical as Harry Potter. But then as Draco Malfoy, it's Slytherin, of course. Why wouldn't it be? The last thing we want to do is we want to actually stream the response, because generating the text is, if you're using something that's a little bit more non-responsive, it doesn't have to happen immediately. Just generating the text is fine, but often you're going to want it to feel more responsive, more real-time, and so you're going to want to stream the results as it goes. So you can essentially stream this response back, and we can see it as it's actually coming in. So let's do stream here. So instead of calling generate, it's pretty simple. We just call stream, pass in messages. We're going to say that we're streaming the response, and we're going to say this is close but not quite. So we're going to basically have to stream in chunks. So we're going to get all the chunks, and it comes back as the stream variable. If we see our autocomplete here, this has .text stream, so that's what we're going to use. And we can write this chunk to standard out, and we'll just add a new line just to kind of clean things up a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and see how this works. And we should hopefully see the same thing run through the second time, and we should see results as it's coming out. So again, this is going to take a little while because it has to print the first few results. There's the first one. There's the second one. Here's a third, and you can see the last one. It happened pretty quick, but it was streaming. And after all this, you kind of understand how you can create and configure LLM models. We used OpenAI, but We support a whole bunch of different models. So you could try out Claude, you could try out Gemini, whatever you want. We learned how changing the system prompt can change how the LLM actually responds to the same prompt. And we also learned a little bit about streaming messages. So that's it for this time. Thanks.